how do you do it?
That's a question that I get a lot recently.
Well, because people know that I have 2 small kids. I manage my business, a team, actually 2 businesses. I have a community that I love and deeply care about, and I only work 20 hours per week. How I am doing this? Well, I apply the Pareto Principle everywhere. When I understood what this meant and I found out how I could integrate it into my business,
That really transformed my life.
and that's why I'm going to show it today. I'm going to apply a step-by-step guideline into something I did last year in my yearly planning for myself. So I'm sure you will find an easy way to integrate it into your business too. First of all, what is the Pareto Principle? This is something very simple and very powerful, created by a very ingenious Italian called Vilfredo Pareto back in the 19th century. He actually wanted to analyze how the soil in Italy was distributed, and he found out that the 80% of the land in Italy was owned by the 20% of people. And he started to investigate more patterns about the land distribution in general agricultural aspects, and he found out that this rule of 80-20 applies to many things, not only land, but actually productivity in seeds, labor productivity, and so on. So this is why this law is also called the 80-20 principle, because it's simple as that. It implies that not all tasks are the same. It implies that you have things that add more value to other things, and you just need to identify what is this essential and crucial 20%, focus on that, so that 20% replicate in the 80% of the more meaningful results. And actually, if you apply that to time productivity, to your customers acquisition, to sales, to content creation, is something that you can also have a lot of benefit with. You find if of 100% of the content that you create, it's actually only 20% that really gets the engagement that you want, or 20% of the clients that generate the 80% of revenue of your business. So the tricky part is how to identify that 20%. And that's why I'm going to tell you my practical example and what I did last year. So last year in my yearly planning, I wanted to ask myself which kind of activities really added value to my business based on what I was doing the whole year. So the whole year I was pretty active in networking events, and I wanted to meet many people in Vienna. I have a big network already, and I know many people and many events. So I went to a lot of events. I met a lot of people. So this felt already like a big task and a little bit of a burden, I will say, because it takes a lot, right? I was having the baby, then I had to find sometimes, someone to take care of him. Sometimes I didn't do it, so I was having him with me, and it was a big task. So I didn't have a kindergarten back then, and I really wanted to use the best time for my business. So it meant a huge thing for me to actually going there, packing all of that, organizing the house with Santi was 3 years old, Theo was less than a year, so it was not that easy for me to simply pack and go to these networking events. And eventually I managed and I did it, but this was a big task that took a lot of time. So the big question was
it worth it?
So that's the first question you need to ask. So imagine that you're going to apply the Pareto Principle to something specific, not only like your life or your time schedule or your weekly schedule or something like that in a general manner. Be very specific. So I want to find out how the attending of specific events is really adding to my business. It's kind of a research question if you think about it. So then I analyzed the type of events that I was attending to. I analyzed briefly, not in very detail, but okay, so I looked at the calendars, like I went to this event, and I put that on a paper, and then I realized that actually 20% of events, first of all, were the ones that I liked the most, that I met people that I really cared about, and we had this connection, this resonance with. And so for me, it was a simple conclusion. It was just like a 10-minute analysis, and then I immediately put that into my yearly planning objective. Like, I want to attend only to 20% or to really nice events that matter to me, that are aligned with my message, that resonate with what I do. And that's what I did this year, actually. If you look at my LinkedIn feed, I didn't post so many events this year. I went to much less, but the ones that I attended to, or the ones that I created, really meant something for me. I either met really, really nice people that I'm working with now, or the launch event was absolutely fascinating and I spent so much on my energy, or the networking events with the community of mompreneurs that is just something that I get my heart full because it's so nice. Principally, the principle is quite easy. So it's just find out what you really want to identify of what you are doing. First thing. Second thing, analyze briefly what is the 20% that really feels good for you, for your heart, and see if that's exactly where you're putting your energy. Third, find out if that has an impact on your business. So what is the results, or whatever you are analyzing, not only your business, but actually, you can find out if what you're doing with your kids is actually having a really nice effect. So what is the quality time that you are spending? That's really important. That's something actually that I really like to do. Find out if what I'm doing is actually beneficial for them in many ways. And then finally ask if this is really something that feels good for you to do. And based on that analysis, you actually set up the objectives for next year. And I promise you that you have a little bit of a key performance indicator for yourself that keeps you understanding what worked, what didn't work, and it gives you a lot of sense of achievement and growth, because you know that you are creating with meaning, you are creating with intention, and you are growing your business with a lot of alignment with your body, because you are respectful of your energy, you are respectful of the things that you love to do, you are respectful with the energy around you, because you're also there in the meaningful connections that people actually care about. So I think it's a win-win for everybody. You care for yourself, you care for others, and you are there present in the things that really matter to you. You are more selective, you are more protective of your own energy, and you are definitely more intentional to the focus and growth that you want to have in the future. So that's the Pareto Principle. That's how I do it. I am sure you can apply it everywhere, even to laundry. You cannot imagine, but it is true. You can apply it to the laundry system. It's great. I tell you later in the comments if you're interested. That's all. If you want to know more details about how we integrate this Pareto Principle in a daily life for our yearly planning, you can find the information of my workshop of yearly planning in the link below. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, or share if you think this is valuable information to someone else, and keeping inspired.